What's up, everyone? All right, well, I better change this. I set this as red yesterday. Red day, well, back in the green. Up $21,000. Best day of 2019. Unexpected in a way, although in some ways predictable. Oftentimes, if I have a big red day, the next day I come back swinging. I come back aggressive, and you've got to be really careful about not being a revenge trader, being overly aggressive on the wrong setups. Yesterday, I was too conservative early in the day. The stock takes off 50%, runs pretty much without me. I then overcompensate by taking way too much size near the top, and then I give back all my profit that I've made. Today, I was aggressive from the start. I started off with 6,000 shares of JAGX gap and go setup, made $7,000 like that, and that put me in the driver's seat. And then as it continued higher, I reduced my share size to 1,500 shares. So I kept taking scalp trades as it moved higher, and I was adding icing to the cake, adding a little bit of profit. And then when I did have a loss, which is inevitable, it didn't give back all my profits. And I ended up trading 4 stocks, green on all 4 names. So really solid day, and it just goes to show momentum is still in the market. It's time to put the pedal to the metal and be aggressive. So we will do the midday recap. As always, questions, comments, leave them below, and I will see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. All right, everyone, so I'm going to finish up here. Today is the 109th day of the year, and this is going to be a nice bounce off of yesterday's red day. It was down 10,000 yesterday, up 21,000 here today. So, net, it puts me up 10 grand on the week. Despite this being the single best day of 2019, last week I made $30,000, and it wasn't on big days like this. It was on 5 slow and steady days. And, the thing that's disappointing this week is that I started with a big red day. And so now, even though I've got this really nice big green day, well, half of it has to get me out of the hole. And then, the rest is profit. So it puts me up net about, $11,000 on the week, which is a good week. My weekly goal is 10,000, so I'm above my weekly goal because I made 30,000 last week. I'm now at 40,000 on the month, which is my monthly goal. And so at this point we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 days left in the month, and those days can all add icing to the cake. I don't have to be super aggressive. If I do see something that looks great, I have a cushion to take a little bit of risk, and hopefully I can avoid doing what I did yesterday, which is have a really solid green day and then give back that profit by being too aggressive in the wrong spot. Today I was aggressive. JAGX was our leading gapper on the gap and go scanner. It was gapping up 64% pre-market, which is pretty impressive. Actually, it might have been a little bit more. It was gapped up 70%. Let's look at the scanners here, the watch list at 9:15. So my watch list this morning was JAGX and NBY. These were the 2 that I was really watching. Now, this is another one of those days where we've had a lot of gappers on the scan, and it's been a little bit difficult to narrow down which ones are the best, which ones are really worth looking at. When you have the overall market gapping up, as we did this morning, that can sort of create a little bit of confusion, the rising tide that lifts all ships. You have lots of stocks gapping higher, but they're not all necessarily worth trading. So this morning on JAGX, I was super interested in it because yesterday I traded it and made like $700. It had a reverse split yesterday. Today they have news, and we see this type of thing all the time. Reverse split, news headline, the stock moves up. Sometimes it goes parabolic. It's usually followed at some point with a secondary offering. Maybe they won't do a secondary offering, but the one that we traded yesterday, why am I blanking on the symbol? PRVB, this one, I made $8,000 on it and then lost 18 grand on this drop right here, putting me down 10,000 on the day, which is embarrassing and completely avoidable. I was way too aggressive at the wrong time. And then after hours, they put out an S1 form, a proposed 5.5 million share secondary offering. Very typical. We see this all the time with small cap companies. They're small companies, they need to raise money, and this is the way they do it. So JAGX this morning, by the time the bell was ringing, it was already getting a little bit extended. I was a little worried about it. The market, it opens at 12:50, and basically as soon as the bell rang, this thing took off, and I jumped right in. I jumped in for the break of 12, and then I was looking for the break of 14 or 13. No, sorry, I got in for the break of 13, and then for the break of 14, we hit a high of 14.44. We got a pullback. I added again up here. We got a squeeze all the way up to a high of 15.50 on a gap and go trade, $2.50 per share. And so right in there, I made about $7,500, which was good on 6,000 shares. I wasn't crazy aggressive on my share size. It drops down, and as it rips back up, I got in for the high a day break. Now that was a risky setup, but high a day break is a valid setup. It's a little bit of a double top formation here. We tapped 15.43, we then pulled back, and I added for the break of 15.50, and we got this squeeze up to a high of day of $17. So again, from 15.50 to 17 is $1.50 per share, and that put me up over $10,000 on the stock, which was really solid. I took a couple more trades on it in this area, but I ended up not making money. I kept getting stopped out, which was kind of disappointing. So I actually gave back a little bit of profit on this one. Look at this volatility. I mean, these are extreme whips. This thing is moving really fast. So, on this one, there was money to be made both, up here and down here. What? Oh, you need my keys. So yeah, there was a lot of opportunity on this one, and I think overall I did pretty well on it. Probably could have done a little bit better, but it is what it is. So this was JAGX, CTRV, the second leading gapper, up 5,200, or second leading winner for me, up $5,200. This one, I actually didn't notice this morning. I see that I think it was a gapper. Go back here. Maybe it just wasn't gapping up a lot. So this had news this morning, which was posted right here in eSignal. It's a recent reverse split. We can see this move here a few days ago, where it popped up to a high of 15.75, gapping up, squeezing, and then selling off. First daily candle to make a new high. Good job for the people that had this on their watch list as a daily setup for the break of $8, because this thing broke 8 and squeezed up to a high of $14.65, which again is ridiculous. Now on this one, I was not able to get in before the first halt. The first halt was right here at 10:17. I was watching it. Actually, I wasn't. Someone called out the stock. I pulled it up quickly, and I was like, "Oh, it's about to get halted. I'm not going to get filled. It's not going to happen." So I waited for resumption, and let's see. We resumed, and then that's where I added on this right here at 11 for the break over the whole dollar. We squeezed up immediately to 11.50. We pulled back for a second, moment of truth. Broke 11.50, squeezed to 12.45, and all the way up to 12.84, which was really solid. So nice trades here. 1 minute micro pullback worked, and there we got the move up to the high here of 13.55. It was halted. It then resumed from the halt and dropped down, and I was still holding about, I think it was 300 shares in the halt going back down. I covered that, or I bailed out of that position, and then I got back in right here as we squeezed up. I was hoping that we would break the highs, but we didn't, and then it halted going down and halted a second time going down. So, this is one that was Like JAGX, pretty volatile. The two candles at high of day were both red with little topping tails here. So we didn't have quite enough follow through on this one, but enough to make $5,200. I was up closer to 6,000 and then gave back some of those profits. So another day where you're either giving back profit or missing opportunities, leaving money on the table, or giving back your money. And today I actually, despite being in really good shape today, I gave back a little bit of profit on JAGX and I gave back a little on CTRV. But unlike yesterday, I only gave back a little. Now, yesterday on whatever it was, PRVB, I was up 8,000. Could I have given back 1,000 or 2,000? Sure. And still finished green? Sure. Absolutely. That would have been great. Instead, right up here, I took yesterday my biggest share size, 9,000 shares, and instant $1 drop. I was down 10 grand. Gave back my whole morning. It rips back up. I got back in with 9,000 shares or whatever it was, drops down a second time, and now I'm down 11 grand on the stock. So today I was aggressive in the beginning of the moves and then sized down up in these areas. So I was able to add some profit, and in the places where it didn't work, give back only small amounts instead of taking really huge losses. So that was CTRV. XYN was a stock off the high day Momo scanner, and this was another one that was volatile yesterday. So it hit the scanner down. Where was it? It hit the scanner down here at 384. I saw a 300,000 share float, up 26% on the day. Relative volume is 10. And I knew that this one had made a big move yesterday. I'd seen it on the scanner yesterday. Had squeezed up from 350 all the way to 6. And remember yesterday, we were seeing some crazy volatility. NBY was going just parabolic. This was halted like almost 20 times, going up and down, just totally crazy. So we were seeing a lot of really strong momentum, and that often carries over to other stocks. And XYN is one of the ones that it carried over to yesterday. NBY, I was watching for a gap and go trade. It needed to break over 450, and that never happened, so it never triggered an entry and ended up just selling off today. So kind of disappointing. It was on the watch list, but didn't trigger an entry. XYN, it hits the scanner. I jumped in for the break of $4. It squeezes and gets halted at 414. It resumes. I actually added up here for the break of 450. It hit a high of 450, could not break that level. There was a seller right there at 450, and then I hit the bid. I bailed out, but was still holding 400 shares. It's then halted going down. I hold through the halt going down. It pops up here. I actually held through that pop back up because I thought maybe first 5-minute candle to make a new high would give us a move back up towards 410, 415, 420. And at that point, my cost basis was 412. Given the volatility we saw in JAGX and CTRV out of the gates, I was like, it's possible. So I gave it a chance. That didn't happen, and then I stopped out of the rest of it at 364, as you can see right here. That was my last exit. ANY, this was another one that hit the scanners earlier this morning. Popped up here pretty quickly from $1.60 up to $2.20. I jumped in at $1.90 for the break over 2. It then squeezed up to 2, hit 2.20. I took my profit on that. I didn't get back in for this 5-minute setup. I see that it ended up failing. HOTH, Hoth, this is one that I saw earlier. Unfortunately, not a lot of volume on it, and at the time that I first looked at it, I just felt like there was only like 10,000 shares of volume. I think I saw it in this area, so no trades on that one. So that's about it for today. Traded 4 stocks. I took a total of 104 tickets today, 104 executions. So 104 times I pressed either the buy button or the sell button. So that means my commissions today are going to be well over $200 with the $2 per ticket plus ECN fees. So, that's part of the deal. Commissions on days like today when you're really aggressive are going to add up, but at the end of the day, as long as you're profitable, it's just the cost of doing business. So I'm disappointed still about yesterday. Would I have been as aggressive today if I hadn't lost money yesterday? I don't know. I mean, possibly not. I was pretty aggressive today. But it didn't take huge share size on anything. I just was a little more active today. I wasn't as maybe gun shy as I was yesterday. So, because yesterday I missed some really great opportunities early on, and then I was frustrated I missed them, and then I kind of FOMO'd at the high of the day trying to compensate, and then gave back profit. Whereas today I was sort of aggressive with 6,000 shares right from the start on JAGX, and made $1 per share, was up $6,000, $7,000, and then from that point I was sort of in the driver's seat right away. And so I think it just, for whatever reason, yesterday I was a little conservative at the wrong times and then aggressive at the wrong times, and today I reversed that, and this is the result. Yesterday could have been a $10,000, $15,000 day. If I had traded the way I traded today, yesterday, I probably would have made at least 20 grand. And instead, for whatever reason, yesterday I just wasn't in the zone, and that little shift between not being aggressive in the right spot and then overcompensating, I mean, that can be the difference between being up 20, 30 grand or being down 20, 30 grand. So today everything came together. Really nice to have that redemption off of yesterday's red day, and great to be up 40 grand on the month. We can look at my daily averages here. So today is the 109th day of the year. Averaging, I've got total profit of just under $280,000, which gives me a daily average of $2,561 right now. So that's a 21% increase year over year, and it has me tracking for $535,000 on the year if I average last year's average for the rest of the year. If I continue to average $2,500 a day, I'm going to be at just under $600,000 of total profit on the year. So we'll see what happens. Pedal to the metal. I'm going to continue to be aggressive. Last month, May, was the best month of 2019 with $86,000, and I'm up 40 grand here with 13 days to go. So I'll see maybe if I can top last month's highs. And I think it's possible if we keep seeing momentum like CTRV, JAGX, GNCA, NBY. It's definitely possible that we'll have another really, really strong month here, which is pretty cool. So anyways, that's it for me. Good job for those of you guys that capitalized. Those of you guys that got on the wrong side the way I did yesterday, go back, study your trades, ask yourself, what were the correct entry points? Where did I go wrong? And what am I going to do tomorrow to help start to turn things around? All right, so that's the game plan. I'll be here first thing tomorrow morning, and hopefully we'll have another solid green day. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.